مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم
وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. My brothers and sisters, I am thankful to Allah the Almighty to have the privilege to address you tonight for a few moments. I want to begin by making dua that Allah will bless this conference, the organizers of Muna, all of the volunteers, the participants, you, that this will be a very successful 3 days. This question, the purpose of life, is the essential question. If you don't answer this question, the purpose of life, and you don't answer it correctly, it will be devastating not only in this life but the life to come. The purpose of life. When I was in the 3rd grade, they taught us a song that I never forgot. Would you like for me to sing it for you now? I bet you would. It's not going to happen. But the song went something like this. Getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to like you, getting to hope you like me. Someone once said that the most important knowledge that you can have is the knowledge of yourself. I do agree that the knowledge of self is important. But the most important knowledge you can ever have is the knowledge of Allah. I will argue tonight that our purpose is to getting to know Allah. Allah said, I have not created the men and jinn except to know me. If you don't know Allah, if we don't know Him, we're lost in this life. I've come to the conclusion that artists, embedded in their work, is their philosophy of life. Can I give you an example? By show of hands, how many of you ever heard of Shakespeare? Raise your hand. Good. Art, movies, short stories, novels, poetry, songs. People listen to them, they watch them, they read books and they watch the movies and television, then they listen to songs, but they don't realize that as you're watching the television, reading the book, that the author is embedding their philosophy of life right in their work. I'll give you an example. How many of you read Shakespeare's Macbeth? Would you like for me to quote you some Shakespeare? Yes, I'll do that. Macbeth's wife just died and he was sad. And this is what he said. Remember, it's not really Macbeth saying it, Shakespeare saying it. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor play that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and is heard no more. It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. What did you just say? Life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing? That's the purpose of life? And I would agree with Macbeth. I would agree with Shakespeare if there is no life after death. If there's no life after death, this life don't make no sense. Really? Why would this life make sense if there's no life after death? And this is why the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, Allahumma la aisha illa aishul akhirah. Oh Allah, there is no life except the life of the hereafter. But the problem with man, this man, he doesn't believe. He doesn't believe in the hereafter. So because he doesn't believe, he puts all of his eggs in the basket of this life. And if you put all your eggs in the basket of this life, you'll be disappointed. I went to an aquarium in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was amazed at the creation of Allah. The animals, the birds, all of that. And I was so inspired by Allah's creation that Allah is my witness. I wanted to get down in the middle of the floor in front of thousands of people. I just wanted to make prostration because of the greatness of the creation of Allah. What a magnificent creator. I went to the farmer's market. Have you ever been to a farmer's market? Yes, you've been? Have you been to the large farmer markets? Have you seen the fruits and the vegetables? The creation of Allah. Allah is great. What a creator He is. Study our own creation. Magnificent. Study the universe. How large it is, how big, expansive it is, but yet I've come to the conclusion that you ain't seen nothing yet. Let's look at this life. Sheikh Wahhaj mentioned in his Jummah khutbah about the life expectancy of the United States of America, and you rightly said it, but the United States, compared to other nations like number 30, life expectancy. If you want to see something nice, go to Japan. They got a life expectancy of 83 years. That's good. You live to be 83 years, it's good. You live to be 90, good. You live to be 100 years old, good. But I would argue that you ain't seen nothing yet. The question is, do you believe? How many of you, and I dare say probably all of you, would love to see Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him? How many? Good. Did you know that he is as excited to meet us as we are to meet him? He said once to his companions, would that I would see my brothers. And his companions said, aren't we your brothers, Ya Rasulullah? He said, Antum ashabi, you are my companions, but my brothers will come after me. They would believe in me, though they have not seen me. Now, I used to be a Christian. I'm different than most of you. By show of hands, how many of you were born into Islam with Muslim parents? Raise your hand. Look around. I want you to look around. Okay. How many of you, like me, and my good friend Ibrahim sitting over there, how many of you converted or reverted to Islam? Raise your hand. Yeah, a handful of us. That's, but my Muslim brothers and sisters born in Islam, we who converted got something over you. I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to rub it in your face. The Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, إِذَا عَمَرَ رَجُلٌ بِعِيسَى ثُمَّ عَمَلُوا بِي فَلَهُ أَجْرَانِ. Whoever believes in Jesus and then believes in me will have a double reward. Ha! You know what it said that Jesus said to Thomas, one of his disciples? He says, Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. But blessed be those who have not seen and yet believed. The Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, خَيْرُ أُمَّتِي قَرْنِي ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ يَلُونَهُمْ. The best of my ummah is my generation, and then the generation that follows it, and then the generation that follows it. How can we compete with Sahaba and the companions of the Prophet? He was there with them. We don't have the Prophet here, peace and blessing be upon him. We have the Quran, we have his Sunnah, but we don't have him. And they're the best because they had him. We live in a society where people say seeing is believing. I don't believe in God. God is dead. I haven't seen him. I don't believe in the hereafter. I don't believe in paradise. I don't believe in the hellfire. That's for little children, is what people say. They've lost faith. And what makes us special is our belief. They say seeing is believing. I say not seeing is believing. Let me give you an example. Did you know right now, as we're sitting here, there are angels here that we cannot see? Yes. Part of our faith is belief in angels. تؤمنون بالله وملائكته كتبه ورسله ويوم الآخر والقدر خيره وشره. To believe in Allah and the angels. So Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, said to his wife Aisha, Ya Aisha, هذا جبريل يقرأ عليك السلام. قالت عليه السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته ترى ما لا أراه. Aisha hears Jibril, he gives you salams. She said, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. O Messenger of Allah, you see what I do not see. And because she believed in her husband, the Prophet, she believed that the angel Jibril gave her salams. Angels go reporting to Allah. And Allah will ask them the question, what are my servants saying? Allah knows the answer, but He's asking the question so that we learn. Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. This is what my servants are saying. Then Allah asks the questions. How ra'awni? Do they see me? يَقُولُونَ لَا يَا رَبْ مَا رَأَيْكَ. No, they don't see you. Allah asks the question, what if they saw me? Oh, if they saw you, they'll be stronger in their worship. Then Allah asks them this question. What are they asking for? And see if you asking the same questions. Yeah, oh Allah, they're asking for your Jannah. Allah said, do they see my Jannah? يَقُولُونَ لَا لَوْ رَأَيْهَا. No, they don't see it. What if they saw the Jannah? By the way, do you think the Prophet saw Jannah? Of course he did. What are they seeking refuge from? They're seeking refuge from the hellfire. Do you seek refuge to Allah from the hellfire? Do you ask Allah to save you from the hellfire? Huh? Do you? And then Allah said, do they see the hellfire? They said, no. They don't see the hellfire. What if they saw it? In my conclusion, believe it. Now, I'm not trying to joke with you. I just now looked at my time and I couldn't believe what it said. And honestly, I have just given you my introduction to my introduction. I'm serious. I haven't begun, and they're telling me basically I got to finish soon. So I got to make a decision if I'm going to obey them. I'm serious. Either I'll obey them and I'll stop in a couple of minutes, or I'll keep going. All they can do is come and stop me. Let me finish. This life makes no sense unless it's the hereafter. What do people want here in this life? They want long life. They want money. If you follow sports the way I do, you find out that some sporting figures get outrageous money. In Los Angeles, a player named Trout, he got a contract for $410 million, a 10-year contract to play baseball. They're talking about supermax contracts for basketball. Outrageous amounts of money. Because for many people, the idea of money, I want me money, give me some money, give me some dunya. And the problem with the world is two categories. And the Prophet summarized it this way. Ad-dunya sijnu mu'min wa jannatul kafir. This world, the dunya, is a prison for Muslims, and it is paradise for the disbelievers. So disbelievers, they get theirs now. Now, just try to follow me. I got about 4 minutes to go. Just try to follow me. I'm going to come to my conclusion. How many old people we have here? Raise your hand. You know what? Listen to me. I don't know about being old, right? So old people tell me. But you want to see something funny? Watch an old person trying to be young. Right? I mean, come on, sis. Come on, bro. But you know the truth? Nobody likes getting old. You can say it. But if you study being old, and you got to remember that this being old is the commandment of Allah. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is. Brothers, who one of the greatest basketball players ever? Give me a name. Michael Jordan. Arguably the best basketball player ever. And yet, Michael Jordan suffered from the same thing that every other athlete suffers from, old age. It's going to happen to LeBron James. It's going to happen. Because by nature, when you get older, you get slower, your memory ain't quite the same, all of that. Why? Because Allah decreed it. We're going to die. Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Everybody knows that. Everybody gonna die. Everybody gonna die. So if you are attached to this world and you die, then it's finished. But if there's life in the hereafter, let me give you a little picture of the hereafter. The Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, إذا دخل أهل الجنة جنة ينادي مناد إن لكم أن تحيا فلا تموت أبدا. I can't wait to hear that. When the people come to paradise, a voice will say, it is for you to live and never die again. 83 years in life, 100 years in this life. But how is it? After 1 billion life in the hereafter, you still alive, and another billion, then another trillion years, and never die. Inna lakum an tashibbu wa la taqmu. It is for you to be young and never grow old again. That's the way it is in paradise. There's no cemeteries in paradise. There's no hospitals in paradise. And one of the things that's remarkable, that I find remarkable, that we do not sleep in paradise. What? You don't go to sleep? What you gonna do? You gonna get bored? No way. You worry about money? Listen to what the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam. Italatu fil jannah wa ra'aytu aqtara ahluha al-fuqara. I looked in Jannah and saw that the majority of the people in paradise were poor. Almost finished. Lastly, cannot judge this life without the hereafter. Two things. The Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, said, nobody who dies and go to Jannah, who go to paradise, nobody want to go back to this earth, even if they're given the whole world and everything in it. Ilal shaheed, except as a martyr, except a martyr. A martyr is a person who gives their life for Allah. That martyr want to come back to this earth. Why? To die 10 more times in the way of Allah because of the great reward that Allah gives them. On the other hand, the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, told us of that person in the hellfire, least punished. Least punished. Allah will ask them on the day of judgment, if you had all the money in the earth, would you use it to ransom yourself to get out of this situation? And he said, yes. You know why, brothers and sisters? The real life isn't this life. This is a test. If I had a mic, I would conclude by walking off the stage if I had a handheld mic, but I can't do it. If I go like this, that's the furthest I can go. But I want the organizers to know I'm on my way out. I don't want you to think I'm standing here. I'm not. He's trying to come get me. He's looking, boy. He want to get me bad. So brothers and sisters, listen. Make this life better. The purpose of this life is to prepare for the hereafter. Not neglect this world, but to prepare. And the best way to do it is by what we do here. And this is why Ali radiallahu anhu said, Al-yawm al-amud wala hisab, wa ghadan hisab wala amud. This life is action and no accountability. And the next life is accountability and no action. We got to do it now. And you here, Muslims, I'm not telling you just for yourself. This is for us to share with the people in Philadelphia, share with Americans, share with the West. 1/3 of the Muslim Ummah live in non-Muslim countries. Where do you find them? You find them in the United States, you find them in Canada, you find them in Europe, you find them in Africa, you find them in Asia. You find them all over the world. And everywhere you find Muslims, in whatever city, whatever country, is to bring benefit for the people of this society. They need to have this message. The message, we have to share it with the people, even though they may hate us. But we don't care nothing about that. We want to share this good news about the purpose of life. And the purpose of life is to serve Allah the Almighty. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
ITV, Call of Peace, Save Humanity.